Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ha, Rekah Kwadash, Mama. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Double honors to my elder as well, Aharawan, Banyasha Allah, the Lions Den Camp, here in Jacksonville, Florida. And salutations to the fellow Akim, Atwathium, and children, Banyam, that believe in truth and sincerity. It's your brother Athanyala. Back to you another lesson. And Yahweh Ratazah is edifying. And I want to resurface an old topic, all right? Pretty much, Yahweh Ratazah is edifying because you still have these Jake women's running up into these clinics, crossing state lines, all right, especially after the laws that's been put in place after Wade versus Roe in 2023, July 1st, 2023, crossing state lines, all right, to still commit murder, all right, still to abort babies when that's ultimately what the Lord put in your womb. And we go prove that with the scriptures. And the Yahweh Ratazah is edifying because this is another way, a form of genocide amongst our nations, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, Seminole Indians, all right, as well as those of the speckled bird who may look like the other nations but bear the same spirit as such, all right, who are the Israelites according to the Bible. All right, this is a spiritual war. This is a spiritual battle, but this is the physical genocide, the physical attack that they put towards our people by way of their systems, all right, organizations, and people, all right. One person is going to be a lady by the name of Margaret Singer, all right, who was Hillary Clinton spoke on her, so on and so forth. But we're going to get right into it. Yahweh Ratazah is edifying.
No doubt a controversial figure with disturbing views on eugenics, race, and population control. While some argue she even wanted to
right, population control, eugenics, race, all that go hand in hand, especially with a devil who's trying to control things. All right, according to Job chapter 9 and verse 24. We'll start off with that right quick. And it's the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. I just want to read it out the scriptures. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right, where and who is he? Who covered the faces of the judges? The men of the scriptures telling you that they were so-called Anglo-Saxon, that the God of the Bible was Anglo-Saxon. But we read in Revelations 1 and 13, 1 and 14, we know what he looked like. By returning back to our law, statutes, commandments, by returning back to a book. They say, what, if you want to hide anything from the so-called black man, put it in the book, all right? But you have what? A remnant have returned, all right, and picked up that book and studied to show thyself approved according to Revelations, 1 and 3, all right? So we can be able to learn and what's to come and what's against and what we're against pertaining to the spiritual war, the spiritual battle, this captivity, all right? Because we're in captivity, we're not in our rest, but the woman who thinks she's at rest, all right, shame is getting ready to cover her soon, all right, and it's not just no lesson just to beat up the woman, the so-called black woman, all right, just to make them aware of what they're up against. It's not just against the so-called black man, all right, it's against the Israelite family as a whole, all right, the man, woman, and child, all right, pertaining to what Psalms 83, they're trying to cut us off from being a nation. All right, them as well as these other heathen nations. But this is Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech, right? Because the war is you're part of it. It's against you too. All right, you can't bind a man house unless you bind that strong man first. All right, I believe that's in the book of Matthew, right? Probably in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. All right, on how Esau, that's what he done. He bound the strong man up. He gave you benefits, all right? Government assistance, ultimately to kick the man out of the house for you to be left alone astray as a single parent, all right? But now you have what? Today, in these times where women, they don't even want to have children. You used to have women that used to have children just to get benefits off of a man. But you got women today that across state lines just to go abort and kill a fetus, all right, a child that the Lord put in their womb, all right. This is Isaiah 32:10. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Tremble, ye women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip ye and make ye bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. All right? And that's what's going to happen when all hell break loose. The women without a covering, the women without a man, a righteous man at that. All right? You're going to be left out here for damaged goods, man, to be raped, robbed, and murdered, for booties, for loot. All right? Especially when it comes to these military age men coming across the borders. All right? Look at the acts you're doing. They want to have hot girl summers. They have no fear of the Lord. Again, the woman, she wipeth her mouth if she done nothing. All right? But then you have this Edomite lady by the name of Margaret Singer through eugenics, all right, the study of how to arrange reproduction within a human population to increase the occurrence of heritable characteristics regarded as desirable. You know, she don't look at the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American man, woman, or child as desirables. She look at you as weeds. So she set up what? Planned Parenthood, abortion clinics. All right. Esau set this up ultimately what? To put forth genocide amongst your nation. You're the one that procreate the so-called Israelite woman. All right. I say so-called black woman. Who is the Israelite woman? All right. We say so-called because you're not black. You're not dark. You're not void of light. All right. You're not wicked. All right. You're supposed to be the standard on the earth. And that's just the nation of Israel as a whole. That's why we have to return back to the law, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. This is our wisdom in the sight of the nations. And we're looking foolish right now. All right.
Terminate the black race. Others are trying to erase that part of her past.
Right. They try to erase that part of her past. All right. That's Job 20:10. Somewhat on how their children shall seek to please the poor. They try to right their wrongs. They try to cover up and make things sound good. But when you look behind the smoke screen of it, it's genocide. It is what it is. It's murder. It's racial bias against the so-called the Israelite family, man. Because that's who really running up into these clinics. The book of Job, chapter 20 and verse. This is Job chapter 20 and verse 10. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. Man, he gonna restore everything he destroyed. All right, but this is what they do. They try to please the poor. All right, and restore their goods. But it's some things you can't restore. All right. The land can't be cleansed from one's blood unless the blood that shedded the blood be shed. Roughly paraphrasing, right? This is Numbers 35 and 33. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 35 and verse 33. I'm just going through the spirit, what come to mind. In between tongue. And it says, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land. Right? And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it, man. And Esau, he shed a lot of blood, man. Think all the blood that been shed from slavery all the way up to now. All right. And the inverted blood that was shed by way of his doings and hands. All right. By way of his system. All right. Which led to death, which led to blood being shed. Right. His blood has to be shed in order for this place to be cleansed. That's why the Lord's go bathe his sword in heaven, man. Those missiles. and sent it upon this place, Idumea, man. But we will get back to the scriptures, man, because what? He defiled the land. They shed innocent blood, all right? They make our people sacrifice their children in the land of Canaan, all right? Sacrifice their children through the Molech still, spiritually.
Mike Wallace interview.
In the eyes of some, Margaret Sanger has been a heroine. In the eyes of others, she's been a destructive force.
In her own words, Sanger pushed for a society that limited births to those she deemed fit to have children.
I think the greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world that have disease from their parents, that have no chance in the world to be a human being, practically. Delinquents, prisoners, all sorts of things just marked when they're...
And technically, she's right, all right? Because you don't want to have no children and bring no children without the guidance and stewardship of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, without that ordinances. But that's what our people do, all right? And the Lord turned his face away from us being in this captivity for disobeying his law, statute, commandments. So 2/3 of Israel shouldn't be procreating because they don't have Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. They're just going to add sin to sin. They go bring forth monsters, man, all right? Look at these demons that's killing each other today. All right. That's why the Lord said he's going to let the multitude perish that was born in vain. Right. This is a killing and this is an unrighteous generation, man, pertaining to the children of men. All right. This is Exodus chapter 20 and verse 13, just going into the law. Thou shalt not kill. Right. And right there it should say thou shalt not murder. Right, because murder is what's unjust. A killing is somewhat sanctioned. All right, King David was a killer. All right, but those killings was sanctioned, was justified. All right. He was a man after the Lord's own heart. All right, so it should say thou shalt not murder, which is like a killing that's unjustly, in other words, right? This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 11 and verse 5. This is Ecclesiastes, Salakia, chapter 11 and verse 5. As thou knowest now, Salakia, as thou knowest not what is the way of the spirit, nor how the bones do grow in the womb of her that is with child. Right. Like, how does that happen? The Lord does that. Put a speck of light, man. You should see like a ultrasound. It's pretty much dark there until you see that speck of light, and that be the sperma, the seed that's ultimately gonna turn into an embryo. All right, that becomes the baby in the womb. That little speck of light in that room of darkness, being the womb. That is, when you look at an ultrasound from that point of view, that's exactly what it looked like. All right, a big ball of blackness, and then you got that one little dot of white, and that's usually the baby growing up in a sack, so to speak. So it's back in Ecclesiastes 11 and 5. As thou knowest not what is the way of the spirit, nor how the bone do grow in the womb of her that is with child, even so thou knowest not the works of God who maketh all. Right, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So who is man, a human, all right, man, woman, to stop that, or to have some type of control or oversight of what the Lord's doing pertaining to a spirit being born, a spirit being created, a spirit being put in a womb, all right, a spirit being put into a body, all right, making a living soul. Esau don't have nothing to do with that, right? But he tries to play God. He tries to be a diabolical demon. That's in 2 Thessalonians. He sit in the temple as God, showing himself as God. This is the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2. Bear with me. And verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, right? And that's Esau, Edom, and it's speaking on 70 AD, right? Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, right? He don't even act as if God exists. He play God on the earth. Or that is worship, so that he as God, right? Just like his forefathers, Antiochus Epiphanes, right? Alexander, just all the Hellenization of the people. All right, they still have that in them today. They still have that hatred in them as well today. All right, being Esau. All right, again, the violence against our brother, shame go cover them. That shame covering them, and they being found out. They being searched out. The skirts being lifted up. So that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, right? He showed himself that he God. So people, they put their allegiance. These nations have gave their allegiance unto this damn devil and his beast-like system. 2/3 of our people have given their allegiance to this damn devil, pertaining to John 8:44. They're of their father, the devil, so the lusts of their father they do. So that's why they run up into these abortion clinics, man, and sacrifice their children to Molech, all right, to the land of Canaan, all right? The Lord had put that in your heart to do that. You know, if it's a woman that does that, right? It's even women that gets raped that don't do that. Because they have that moral uprightness about them to know that the Lord did this. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground, for delicateness and tenderness, right, she a sadiddy be. Her eyes shall be evil towards the husband of her bosom, right, she gonna be a demon, a straight up bee. And towards her son, and towards her daughter, and towards her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and towards her children which she shall bear, Salakia, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straits, right? Because you had the account of the woman that had the bet, oh, I eat your son, we'll boil your son today and eat him in the time of famine, and tomorrow we'll boil your son. But then when that tomorrow came, the other lady hid her son, right? Or you had the woman who had uprightness, moral uprightness, all right, through the times of Antiochus Epiphanes and Maccabees, who with the 7 children, all right, who allowed her children to die, then eat swine's flesh, you know. So it's a difference, man. You got that comely and delicate woman that have an evil eye today. All right, as the daughters of Zion, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Israelite women are supposed to be delicate, all right, pleasing, a helpmate, right, not a murderer. Just verse 57 from the top again. And towards her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and towards her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them from want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness, right? And when you go into that term eat in 57, it don't just mean physically eat, right? It goes into devour, feed, right? Because you can feed a child the philosophies of this world, which is going to be to his detriment, which is going to be to she detriment and demise, all right? The scriptures say train up a child the way he shall go. All right, so it's better for a lot of you women not to have children and bring forth children, because you will fit this bill right here in Deuteronomy 28, 56, and 57. All right. Wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates, man. Because it's so much pressure, and the pressure bust pipes. Especially being out there to fend for yourself without a man, without a covering, without the knowing of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, without that understanding. All right, and then you got the women in the truth that claim to understand the truth and believe in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Ain't no woman believing in Yahweh Shem Yahushua running into no Parent Parenthood clinic, man, crossing state borders to abort a baby. That ain't happening. All right, that's a faithless woman. That's an Evite, not a daughter of Sarah. This is Ecclesiastes. I don't know if I brought that out yet or not. I think I did, 11:5. Kind of did. We'll get back to it.
Born.
In 1916, Sanger opened the country's first birth control clinic. As a member of the American Eugenics Society, she advocated improving the genetic composition of humans through controlled reproduction of different races and classes.
That's racial bias in itself, controlled of different races, and so you're gonna have more control over the next, or you're gonna have less control of this group than that group. All right. Again, that's what like a lot of these plasma clinics and all that stuff floor. All right. That's why be damn I go up in the plasma center again. All right. Because that's ultimately set up to help Edomite women have babies and procreate, because they can't procreate like you. Again, the Lord promised Abraham to have his children to multiply, to be the sands of the sea, right? Not just Ishmael, just in general, right?
She often wrote about the issue in the journal she founded, called the Birth Control Review. In 1919, writing,
I personally believe in the sterilization of the feeble-minded, the insane, and the syphilitic. The most urgent problem today is how to limit and discourage the over-fertility of the mentally and physically defective.
Many point to a 1923 New York Times interview as proof of Sanger's racist motives, in which she referred to people as weeds, saying,
It means the release and cultivation of the better racial elements in our society and the gradual suppression, elimination, and eventual extirpation of defective stocks, those human weeds which threaten the blooming of the finest flowers of American civilization.
Hayden Ludwig, an investigative researcher, has extensively studied Sanger's life and writings.
She talked about the need for race betterment through controlling these weeds, basically undesirable people.
In 1939, after opening another clinic in Harlem,
this is Hillary Clinton, who she looked up to, and she said something similar as far as bringing you predators, you super predators. She took a template out of this lady's book, all right, and called you super predators, being the men of Israel, mainly back in those times. I believe it was the 80s, right, where they had like the war on drugs and things like that. They were setting up their prison industrial complex to where it's full today. To where she spoke about super predators and bringing them to heel, right? This is the book of Psalms 106 and verse 34. And this is for those of Israel who want to continue to rebel, all right? Being idolatry, right? Idol worship, just like in the times of old, all right? When the Lord was, I believe this is the time of the Lord fleeing us out of Egypt, right? When you had 2/3 of Israel melted a golden calf, still wanted to go back into Egypt, right? But the Lord ain't delivering all Israel out of this second Egypt. This is the second Egypt pertaining to Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. This is spiritually Sodom and Egypt, where the Lord, our Savior, was crucified. And this is the only nation that pushed sodomy throughout the four corners of the earth amongst everybody, all right? In the broad spectrum as far as amongst these other nations, all right, even into your home. And this is Egypt, the second Egypt pertaining to where the Lord was crucified. The people here not knowing that they're the children of the Lord, they suffer not their body to be put in graves. So what? This is the house of bondage. America, the valley of the shadow of death. This is hell. But this is Psalms 106 and 34. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them. Right, and this when the Lord chastise you, he's going to put judgment upon you when you disobey his strict order, his strict commandment. All right, when you disregard it. Like he put the bones in the womb. All right, and we brought out in Ecclesiastes 11 and 5. Like there's no other king that were born no other way. Even Yahweh Shah, who the world ignorantly calls JC, Jesus Christ, he was born during the times he was born of man and woman, of Joseph and Mary, right? They had sex. There wasn't no immaculate conception. All right, so when the Lord put like that speck of light, that seed in your womb, that embryo, you don't commit abortions, right? That's sin. That's wicked. Verse 35. All right, that's not doing what the Lord command of you spiritually. That's neglecting His way. Verse 35. But were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. Right, that's what our people are doing still to this day. Mingled among the heathen, learning their works, running up into Planned Parenthood, running up to these different philosophies, these different ways of life that was set up for these other people, these other nations, not us. And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Right, it's a trap unto you. Yeah, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan. And the land was polluted with blood. Thus were they defiled with their own works, and went a-whoring with their own inventions. Right. Therefore was the wrath of the Lord kindled against his people, insomuch that he abhorred his own inheritance. Man, the Lord turned his face away from us, man. But you still got people today moving in that same manner. You still got Israelites today, 2/3 of our people today moving in that same manner, man. The Lord's going to abhor you. You don't want to get it. You don't want to listen. The Lord's going to abhor you. It's the book of 2 Kings. Chapter 17 and verse 17. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. Man, that's what they're doing. They did it then, they're doing it now. People, 2/3 of our people is subject to that same condemnation, man. That same lot, Purim.
The birth control activists launched the Negro Project, an initiative supported by black leaders, such as civil rights activist W.
Coon, right? Because that's how he got his name probably back then. The support of. Just like you got today, you got these people out here voting and rooting for Trump. Trump really don't care about you people. He's just playing on the vote, all right? And then when he get that vote and he get in office, get what he wants, it's going to be the hell with you. All right, all hell go break loose, and he gonna give a damn about you ninjas, man. All right, that's why it's you always got a Jake selling out. All right, I believe it was Constantine through the time of Titus and Vespasian. All right, you got this dude who is somewhat, what did he say? He was a supporter of the lady.
Clinic in Harlem. The birth control activists launched the Negro Project, an initiative supported by black
Negro Project, and put a Negro probably the face of it.
Leaders, such as civil rights activist W.E.B. Du Bois. Critics claim the program clinic in Harlem. The birth control activists launched the Negro Project, an initiative supported by black leaders, such as civil.
Right, and they had the boule to support it, because that's what the boule do. They can't sit at the table, but they can help guard it. This is the book of Matthew chapter 2 and verse 1. All right, and what I thought about when I just think of the Lady Margaret Singer and shit is that Esau, Edom, the man, woman, and child, they're like Herod the Great, man. They like their forefather Herod. All right, they have that hate and disdain towards Jacob, man. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and if they can get away with it and there wasn't no laws in place to kill you, slavery will still exist. Like, we talking hardcore slavery, they would kill you. This is the book of Matthew chapter 2 and verse 1. Now when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea, just like they want you to kill your own babies, they want you to do it, and they're putting it in the minds of our women, all right, especially the young women, the youthful women. They more so want to have a hot girl summer and be prosperous in the world as far as being entrepreneurs, some type of sole proprietorship, whatever the case may be. All right. Then to have a child and to procreate. And that's ultimately what a woman was here to do. Right? Procreate. Man and woman was here to procreate. All right. But a woman was ultimately made, all right, woman, all right, female servant. That's ultimately what a woman means. All right. She was made to be a helpmate, not a murderer. This is Matthew 2, and I'll start from the top again. Now when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Yahushua Mashiach should be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea. For thus it is written by the prophet, and thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the prince of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child. And when he had found him, bring me word again that I may come and worship him also. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. This is a quick read. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshiped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And being warned of Yahweh in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, right, because Herod was seeking to kill this woman's man-child, all right, which was the savior for Israel. All right, what if she would have went into a Planned Parenthood or abortion clinic then? It's back in 11 from the top again. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshiped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of Yahweh in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph, his father, in a dream, saying, arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt. And be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod would seek the young child to destroy him. All right, and that's what Yahushua, he fled into Egypt, right? He blended in where he can blend in, man, with other people of the dark races. All right, Herod was going to stick out like the sore thumb, right? But even then, the point was just in 11, man. In 13. All right, how Herod seek to kill the young child. You know, the Lord prevented all that. So it's for a woman to do that. The Lord made you do it. It's Proverbs 20 and 24. Because even women that get grapes, they don't even sometimes do that because they understand, like, this is something that, like, I don't do on my own. A certain women understand that. This Proverbs 20 and 24. Man's goings are of the Lord. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. How can a man then understand his own way? It is a snare to the man who devoureth that which is holy. Right, that's man, that's human. That's man or woman. All right, it's a trap to the man who devoureth that which is holy, and after vows to make inquiry, man. To sit there and think the Lord will accept it, man. You should know better. You know that's and then you got to cross state lines, man. You have hours upon hours to think about what you go do, and still do it, man. May the Lord find mercy in you. May the Lord have mercy on you, Salakia.
Rights activist W.E.B. Du Bois. Critics claim the program used the pretense of better health and family planning for poor blacks in the South as an attempt to limit the black race. Ludwig says some on the left grapple with Sanger's past and how to interpret her legacy.
They know when she writes about human weeds, they know that it's repulsive. They know it's disgusting. The left will never abandon Margaret Sanger because if they do, she's the foundation of so many of their views.
Sanger once shared her vision for a preferred race at a women's branch of the Ku Klux Klan, writing in her autobiography,
Always, to me, any aroused group was a good group.
Despite those views, liberals praise Sanger's work while ignoring her history.
I admire Margaret Sanger enormously.
So does a lot of the so-called black women today. All right, they are black, being the ones that's in this mindset. All right, they admire this lady too because they support her. They go and do her deeds, by way of her philosophy, Esau's philosophy. They don't acknowledge what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai has done and put into their womb, their body, right? Spiritually, you know. This Proverbs 2 and verse 10. When wisdom entereth into thine heart, right, into thy mind, your la'av, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee. You have some type of form of understanding, man. Your conscience, your mind, body, and soul, you gonna know that something's not right, right? Fear of the Lord is there. Verse 12, deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh forward things. Right? Because that's what this wisdom do. It shows you discretion. It helps you create equity, as the scriptures say. All right? Ultimately, so you can be able to withstand the wiles of the devil. That's why you have to have on the full armor of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right? That's in Ephesians chapter 6. You need the full armor. You can't just have everything on and you lacking the helmet. Now your head exposed. Verse 13, who leave the paths of unrighteousness to walk in the ways of darkness, right? And you got a lot of people who do that. All right, they leave the path of righteousness once knowing it to go back and walk into the paths of darkness. All right, that's an unbalanced trade, man. That's a waste of time. Who rejoice to do evil, right? And delight in the forwardness of the wicked, right? They happy that the wicked set these alleys and ways up so they can fall into those alleys and ways. All right, they can have scapegoats, you know, from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. They don't have to take accountability. They don't have to be turned back to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. But the Lord gonna require it of you, man. You're gonna be redeemed without money. All right. The Lord will put judgment upon our nation, man. He go sift our nation as a whole. That's why our nation go through the curses today, because they want to continue into these different philosophies and ways of man, of Esau, Edom, the heathen. Verse 15, whose ways are crooked and they froward in their paths. to deliver thee from the strange woman. Right, and woman ultimately meaning philosophies, but you can consider that twofold, right? Pertaining to this lesson. Even from the stranger which flattereth with her words, right? Other philosophies, because they sound good, but they're not beneficial to you. Yeah, you can go and do that over here or do that over there, so you don't have to worry about that for the next 18 plus years or a lifetime, however long we here until the Lord come and get us. But the Lord gave you that responsibility. He require you of something else. He want to increase in you. Much is given, as much is required, right? It's about increasing. It's about leveling up. It's about knowing Him, being closer to Him. You know, a child in a woman's sense might slow her down from the streets, from the clubs, whatever the case may be, so she can be focused. She can actually get a grip on life. Vice versa, a man too. Trauma, judgment, chastening. That's how the Lord deal with us. That's how He get our attention. But when you despise that, right? Verse 17, which forsaketh the God of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her God, right, of her power, man. For her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. None that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life, right? You know, you can't walk into the darkness, and the light has nothing to do with it. All right? You completely put your candle out. Like you cast it, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, to the wayside. Verse 20, that thou mayest walk in the way of good men, and keep thy paths of the righteous. For the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the transgressor shall be rooted out of it, man. You know, so it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, man. You know, especially these women that be claiming to be in the truth, or claiming like the Lord dealing with me. A woman say, oh, the Lord dealing with her, run, flee. All right? Jake got to understand the Lord not playing, man. It's a thin line between righteousness and unrighteousness, man, good and evil. The ways of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua and the ways of the world, man. Light and darkness. You can't be subject to the philosophies and the ways of this world, man, and claim to be in the truth, man. The scriptures say, examine thyself whether you be in the truth. Right? Whether you be in the faith. Again, you got the worldly woman of not uprightness, of not of good moral code. That's go what put, you know, be hard to her little ones. Right? This is back in Deuteronomy chapter 28. And I stopped at what, 57? But I start at 56 from the top again just to get that point. And this is Deuteronomy 28:56. The tender and delicate woman among you which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Her eye shall be evil towards her husband, towards the husband of her bosom, and towards her son, and towards her daughter, and towards her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and towards her children which she shall bear. For she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in thy gates. Right. And we got that point earlier. If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name. Right. Yahweh Shai. Right. Especially knowing them names. The God of thy power. Then the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continence, and sore sickness, and of long continuance, Salakia, and of long continuance, and sore sicknesses, and of long continuance. Moreover, he will bring you Salakia. Moreover, because it's dark in here, Salakia. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the disease of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. All right, and it's just going into the curses, man. Curses upon curses for disobeying the laws, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. All right, and that's just twofold, man. The unrighteous and upright, the unrighteous and not upright woman, man. All right, who's evil towards her child. All right, and again, so is the mother, so is the daughter. It's usually generational, right? Grandmas be 30 years old, 40 years old. All right, but yeah, it's unlawful act, man. The Lord is not pleased with you women sacrificing your children in the land of Canaan to Molech. All right, committing abortions. All right, it was a time right in 2017, 2018, the company, the PepsiCo company, was on the chopping block via Planned Parenthood, selling those aborted fetuses, putting them in food products, manipulating your taste buds. All right, which may lead you to very well eating your children, man, like that account in the scriptures of the lady boiling her son. Shalom, Habadan, DTA, until the next one, man.